So you're thinking about trying Rimworld. Maybe you saw it on a gaming listicle, or one of your friends won't shut up about it. Or perhaps you saw a post on Reddit where someone talked about this weird game where they ran an illicit organ farm. As for me, I tried it because my Patreon supporters voted for it from a randomly selected list of my backlogged games. But to determine if you should try Rimworld for yourself, I'm going to provide 3 distinct perspectives from people whose opinions I really trust. And all of them are me. When you boot Rimworld up, it will bill itself as a story generator, which is only accurate insofar as things happen and you can ascribe meaning to those things if you choose. Rimworld is basically a task management simulator that you need to take an online course to understand. You take a team of survivors, each with their own array of skills and traits, and force them to survive in a landscape beset by raiders, and fires, and robots, and inclement weather. Once you've assembled your team, you'll pick a starting position on the map based on resources, terrain, and proximity to murderers. And once there, you will designate your survivors to grow food, build shelter, craft items, tame or hunt animals, take prisoners, and perform medical interventions. Performing any of these actions is not the game, but assigning the tasks? Yeah, that's the game. The game is also assigning zones for things to go in, be they crops, food, equipment, or corpses. If you don't make good stockpile zones, you're going to have a bad time, but make sure you comprehend the 100 different options for your stockpile. Rimworld is the only game I've ever had to cram for. I played a somewhat useful tutorial at the beginning, but had I not followed it up with 40 minutes of instructional videos on YouTube before even attempting to assign tasks to survivors, I wouldn't have had a strong handle on how to feed my colonists or have them not live in filth. Basically, every time I wanted to do anything, I had to Google something. How do I stop food from spoiling in Rimworld? Build a walk-in freezer. How do I power my walk-in freezer in Rimworld? Power it with a wind turbine and a backup battery. Why doesn't my wind turbine work in Rimworld? A single tree is too close, which stops it from receiving wind, even though that's not how wind works. And when you're not Googling how to dispose of the corpses of your settlers, you'll be scrambling to correct for environmental disasters and other external threats that you didn't know to plan for. The main challenge in Rimworld is figuring out basic things to stop your dudes from dying or losing their minds. And if you aren't inquisitive enough to figure all those things out, or imaginative enough to care about these weird little blobby peons, you're in for a slog. Rimworld is f***ing amazing. Ignore the last guy. He just hadn't Googled enough stuff to get good at this game. Once you get some hours under your belt and start conquering some major adversity and grow attached to your weird little pawn people who form relationships with one another, you'll see that Rimworld kind of is a story generator. Your colonists have strengths that you can harness and flaws which you'll plan around. They fight, they pull each other off the battlefield and tend to each other's wounds. You need a good mix of skills and personalities because colonists are usually only good at a couple of things. Sure, sometimes your best cook picks fights with people for no reason, and your only doctor is a misogynist, and one of your colonists keeps getting too high and passing out in the walk-in freezer, but that's what makes it a game. Rimworld is basically a big project management simulator, which has you balance interpersonal drama, long-term food solutions, major building projects, and colony defense, which can be tricky when bugs burst through the floor of your walk-in freezer for the first time. Nothing you can't handle, though. When you've mastered enough of the fundamentals, you'll get closely acquainted with the most important screen in the game, which is this task management sorter where you rank every task's level of priority for each survivor. Once you assign work priority based on the talents of your crew, things really start automating themselves. And yes, I am indeed suggesting that managing a spreadsheet makes this game more fun. With your tiny homies working on autopilot, you're freed up to take on bigger projects, like organizing caravans to engage in trade or war with your neighbors, advancing through the technology tree to upgrade your arsenal and living situation, and building a giant-ass wall around your base so that enemies have to funnel themselves into a kill zone like a bunch of morons. You'll find that stuff goes sideways pretty much constantly, and once I'd performed my first post-battle amputation, Rimworld fully had its hooks in me. One of the coolest things about this game is that you can really tailor it to your gameplay needs by making it harder or easier, or by changing the AI narrator that dictates the flow of events. You generally start out with this linear model storyteller, Cassandra Classic, who will throw linear threats that you can manage by keeping your colony growth on track. But if you're like me and have built your entire online identity around randomization, you'll want to follow in my footsteps and get to know Randy Random, a complete agent of chaos. Where Cassandra gives you trials in a model that respects the idea of difficulty scaling, Randy Random does whatever the hell he wants whenever the hell he wants to do it. Sometimes he sends a mob of raiders at you. Sometimes it's a feral squirrel or turtle. Sometimes he just gives you a giant flock of domestic ducks for you to grow attached to. And then later, he kills all of those ducks with a prolonged heat wave. So what if my two best colonists get the plague and die while the rest of my team is unable to attend to them because they're fighting a freak wildfire that threatens to consume my base if left unchecked? Classic Randy, am I right? At all times, there's something you need to be working towards or fighting against that will put your resource management skills to the test. And many of the challenges will catch you completely by surprise. Honestly, I'm having a great time, and I can't think of any downsides to this game. Okay, Rimworld is ruining my life. My review is weeks overdue because I can't stop playing it. I'm tired every morning because I keep playing it in the evening, and before I know it, it's like 2 a.m. I'm actually addicted to this game. But I can quit anytime. But first, I just need to get my crematorium running and build a second geothermal generator and thwart this raid on my base and take these 5 raiders prisoner. And then of course I have to rehabilitate the prisoners and recruit the prisoners onto my team. Oh, you know what? I should probably build some more bedrooms for them. Oh, and deal with this food shortage because I now have too many mouths to feed, and this volcanic winter killed all my crops. So I'm gonna have to butcher most of my muffalo to feed them. Will my survivors start fighting more because the only thing that was keeping them happy was a well-rounded diet? Sure, but that's why I beautified the cemetery and tasked my head scientist to roll a bunch of joints to calm everyone down. Rimworld is aggressively addictive, and you can tell because most of the people who've reviewed it on Steam have hundreds or thousands of hours logged in the game. I've put about 54 hours into Rimworld at the time of writing this, which beats my record for time played before reviewing a game by about 22 hours. I know there's still so much more to learn and do, and I haven't even tamed attack bears or dabbled in cannibalism yet. And not only can you change the settings to your liking, you can just come up with your own scenarios using an absurdly robust scenario editor. Then there's DLC packs and mods if you're playing on PC. There's basically infinite variety and customization, which makes Rimworld one of those desert island games that you could play forever. Do I sleep anymore? No. But that's fine as long as my colony is doing okay. It's challenging to review this game quantitatively because it's not like you can compare it to other games. It's a chaos-forward colony labor management simulator where the point is that your shit gets f***ed up routinely. So what do I even criticize? It's doing a great job at being exactly what it is. What it is isn't for everybody. But if you like resource management simulators, spreadsheets, trial and error, deep customization, and abject chaos, and you don't mind having to do a bit of light research, then Rimworld is a game I can wholeheartedly endorse. I do have to stop playing it forever though, so I can get some sleep. That does it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Rimworld was selected from a random selection of games by my supporters on Patreon. The support offered by this community is what allows me to keep this project going, and if you enjoy what I do, consider becoming a member on Patreon or hanging out on the Discord channel with the loveliest bunch of people I've ever met on the internet. All of the links are in the video description. Until next time, make sure to create a stockpile zone for your corpses so your survivors don't get sad, and I'll see you all soon on Random Game Reviews. Thanks as always to all of my supporters on Patreon, and also to anyone who follows this channel who has been incredibly patient while waiting for me to put out a new video. It turns out getting a puppy while you're the busiest you've ever been in your life at work is not conducive to doing YouTube. But looking forward to making more RGR content in the near future, and thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.